I'm Alex.
I'm Derek.
And I'm Ashawn. We're the Swans. And this is us one-on-one with one entity. Stay in the loop, baby. I wanted y'all to give y'all perspective on how y'all met me, and then I'll say my perspective.
So I'm a part of One Mic Stand Casey, and he had just put out an album at the time, or it was a Love Blemish, which is now One Big Happy Family. I reached out to him, told him to come to the open mic, and we just rapped, and it was just conversation after conversation, and I don't know. We felt like we could work together, and then we met Derek. Derek was like the missing piece. He put out our he designed our first shirt that we got moving, the Just Like You shirt.
And we threw an event, and Sean pulled up. I never even met Sean at the event. He talked to the other dude that was in charge of it, and was like, "Hey, I want to perform here." And it was at my old shop, a screen printing shop. So it was around some desk and stuff. He wanted to do like a tiny desk thing. And he was like, "I want to perform here." So then I met him, and then him and I would just chop it up like before he met. And then he saw that we printed. He's like, "I want you to print some of our stuff." And he sent a logo. And I was already listening to his album and everything. And I sent him back the Swan swoosh, the Just Like You. And then he was like, "Yeah, we doing that." So then kind of just became from there.
Let me tell you my point of view from this. This guy right here, right? So he invited me. Well, for one, he wasn't just DMing me and inviting me and stuff. Like when we DM me, like we would have like really good conversations, and it wouldn't just be about like random stuff. It would just be stuff about life and even regular stuff about like the songs on the project. And then he invited me to One Mic Stand, and One Mic Stand was crazy. Like at that point in time in the Kansas City music scene, it was rare to pull up somewhere and consistently 80 to 100 people is there every week. But that was what One Mic Stand was. So I saw him and his partners had like some motion going. So I just, in my head, I'm like, he cool, he smart, he good conversation, but he got this shit moving. Cool. So they didn't know this until afterwards. I put everybody through like an 8-month vetting process before, like, just cause I'm jaded, bro. I've been through some things in this music shit. So after time, like, then he became one of like my closer friends. Like I remember the first time I did the Yada Yada podcast, they was taking me home afterwards, and it was a standoff in my building. This is like one of the first times I'm meeting dude, and they sitting outside waiting for me because I can't get in the house for like an hour and a half because the police is having a standoff with somebody in my apartment. So that happens. Shit like that make you brothers. Then I moved to Phoenix at the end of 2018, and I moved back in 2019. So the album A Love Blemish that he talking about, I had deleted it. And I added 4 songs, and it turned into One Big Happy Family. And that came out around the time I was meeting him. So the very first day I got back from Phoenix, I got back to KC, I had seen a photographer that I kick it with a knot named Kenny. He posted their flyer for their event. And I was like, don't nobody know I'm in town, I'm just gonna go pull up. So I pulled up because I was like, I wanna chop it up with Kenny. I seen the space. When I got there, Kenny was like, he decided to tell everybody, like, yo, he's a really good rapper. Like, go listen to his music. And then he made people play my music like at the event. And then people liked it.
Carnell already knew your music.
For real?
I didn't know your music. And I didn't even talk to you the whole event.
That's crazy. So I didn't know anybody in there knew my music. But then after they played the music, people liked it. I invited them to the show because the show was the very next week. I had just put the album out. He came to the show. When he came to the show, he asked me like, yo, if you need clothes made, like I print and stuff like that. I sent this man my basic ass logo. Like bro, the logo was so ass. I sent this man, shout out Walt, man, my brother, hella good on the beats. You know what I'm saying? But we had a logo. That thing wasn't thinging like it was supposed to. So I sent him the logo, and like he said, he had already been listening to my music. And when he sent me back, what he sent me back was probably the greatest thing I could have got to start a clothing, like start selling merch with. He literally kickstarted everything. The first day that I got them shirts, we had 40 shirts. I sold over 32 of them shirts in the first 24 hours. And that is how me and him connected. So once we connected with him, And it just kind of became like the power head, like, this is what S.W.A.N is. Like, these are the perfect pieces for what S.W.A.N is.
I remember he brought the clothes to Chipotle.
We
Like
met
No, I had a show for a cypher I did. We paid for the clothes at Chipotle.
Chipotle was the meeting of what design we're gonna do. Price.
That was the beginning.
He brought the shit to it was June 8th, 2019. We had a show at the hangar, because remember we did the Spec Cypher. And it was like a whole, but that night was so classic. Oh my, it was like all the hottest rappers in the city.
I literally printed them, and then because the hangar is like right next to the old shop, and I walked it down the street.
Yup,
With
he
the
handed me that
box.
box. That very next day we posted that picture, it was over from then. It was over from then. Yes, sir.
Suburbs, yeah.
Yeah.
Raymore, so like near Belton, South Grandview.
Up north. So yeah, it's like the suburbs. But I think after high school, I was like in the city a lot more. So by the time I was kicking it with him, I felt like I was from like.
I was
down
pulling
north.
up on him on St. John, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so
We-
I don't know the
we was
North
down
Kansas City
north,
version.
so, like-
You know St. John. He was on St. John when I was pulling up on him.
What?
That's Northie. That's real Northie.
I miss the north for
The
sure.
North is the way, man.
We didn't really find it. It was just kind of natural.
I think we all know our role.
Yeah.
That too.
We got a lane as far as like what we do, but as far as how we interact, like these really my brothers. So we just be giving each other shit, but then when it's time to work, we you know,
I mean,
duck our heads, get it gone, do whatever we got to. So
and it ain't always like happy-go-lucky. Like we argue.
Well,
We butt heads for sure.
It's not really argue though. I don't see it that way.
Yeah.
It's, you know,
debates.
We
it's friendly debates.
Me and him specifically are very opinionated.
I be chilling.
Me and Broda had some moments though.
Yeah,
See, his passion comes out in like spurts.
it be the sometimes we get it wrong. Time.
Like he's very relaxed and like reserved, but like when he get going, like you could just tell his energy's up. It's I'm here. And then me and Derek kind of share like we're both like these snarky artistic people. Like that's not good enough. This is not art. That's where we kind of meet.
Yeah. Nothing is good. I don't like nothing at all.
So I think it's just we know our roles. Like I do the clothes, I print design. I went to school for design, and then he does music. So like when I have clothes stuff, he just like trusts me 100%. So but then like a lot of times I'll go to Alex first for clothes because he's more passionate about clothes. But then he'll also go to Alex first for music. 'Cause Alex kind of like in between.
Alex plays so. Alex has his role is so unique because it's like I feel like we all have a bunch of jobs, but I feel like his job is so important. Like he reminds me like of a like not saying he's Draymond, but like the shit that he aids to may not show up on the stat sheet, but it's very fucking important. It's very, very fucking important. He does so much.
Like,
You know what I'm saying?
it ain't no left hook. I'm really a slasher. I get to the rim.
Get to the rim, you hear me? And on top of that, we meet twice a week. We don't fin, we don't bold on that. Like we make sure that all of us meet together twice a week and we keep the ideas fresh.
Yeah, I think the consistency like been the main thing because
We meet twice a week for SW.A.N, but then we
we
see each other way more than that.
Yeah,
like
I
3 or
think
4
that helps too. Like we actually like
Like they just
enjoy
came to
each
my
other.
house, not this last Sunday, but the Sunday before to watch a soccer game, and we cooked breakfast together.
You know what I mean? Team building, man. Gotta keep that core strong, man. Gotta keep that core strong. These my guys, man. That's hard. That's hard.
I'm not even gonna say that.
Damn, is Walt Q-Tip? He gotta be. He gotta be Q-Tip.
Sometimes while we catching him.
Nah, he do. he do.
I guess my passion started with sports, but then so like there's a lot of competitiveness. I guess the art side, I drew a lot when I was younger, but then I thought I was supposed to do something else. I went to school for engineering first, and then flunked out, and then went to art school. So then I realized I need to go to. This is the what I liked about engineering was the designing part. So I was like, all right, I'm just gonna go design. So I guess the design passion came later. I was like always into like fashion in high school. So
Yeah, my peak, well, starts in basketball, first and foremost. That's where I learned like, hold up.
I think all of us started with basketball.
Yeah. That's how I learned that's why I learned like hard work, discipline, accountability. Like I feel like growing up, like especially without like a pops, I feel like I learned a lot of my like core values from like sports and like the shit you learn at practice from coaches and just those things. And then having rheumatoid arthritis, not being able to play sports, like I found something else in music and I just linked everything that I was putting into like sports, I linked full in to music completely.
Feels like
Love again, you feel me? Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, definitely sports. I wasn't like no bad kid, but I'm real like all over the place. That's why I like being a part of so many things at the same time, cause like I get bored fast.
I did get in trouble a lot.
You did?
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah, he was a little smart
got in
ass
trouble.
probably.
I feel like I was bad to like kids that didn't grow up in settings like me. Like compared to everybody else that was in my setting, like I was like the good kid. But when I went out to the suburbs for high school, and I'm like, yeah, I started smoking when I was 12 and this and that. And everybody like, that's crazy. I was the last one to smoke out of my friends. And I was the last one to have sex out of my friends. And so around my setting, I was like the good kid. I was the Sean gonna be something, this and that. But then when I went out to the suburbs, everyone was like, you're so advanced. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, so.
Damn, I feel like it was like the opposite for me. Like I didn't start being real bad until after high school. That's when I started. Like just getting in trouble more. So yeah, there's a lot I can't talk about, but yeah.
Yeah, I was bad in high school, but I never got caught. I never got in trouble. Never got caught. You know what I'm saying? Is it illegal if I don't get caught?
I mean, you the worst.
I was good at that shit. If I was bad at it, would I be here? I don't know. Individuality. That is the why. When it starts, when I first started making music, I told my sister that I wanted to make music. My sister said something to me like, I don't want to hear a person I never met. So being to myself was like the first thing that I got out of music. Then when I first started making music, I didn't start seeing success until I started to tell my personal story. At first I was just rapping, having good metaphors and trying to come up with the craziest punchlines. And it didn't stick to anybody. But when I started to be myself, it started to stick. I started to grow a fan base. People started to actually care what I had to do. So that's that. And then it's also like, a lot of times when I was younger, like the stuff that I found cool, I was very quiet about. Like I remember being a little kid, I would create these voices and I would give these voices like background stories. They would have names. I would write down where they're from, who their friends were and all that. But nobody else I was around did stuff like that. So I just never said nothing. Exactly, I was a weirdo, bro. I was always a little weird. So once after we graduated and I started to see like, oh, everybody loves anime and everybody's this, is like, oh, like, okay, it's cool to be this person that I was, and I found comfort in that. So I feel like if we all embrace the things we nerd out about and the things that like trigger us and gets us going, we all closer to being ourselves. And if everybody being themselves, the world is in a better place.
I think that's my wise too. Just kind of to piggyback off of that. Like I always was able to just be myself around them. And like Sean was saying, like it be sometimes the passion come out at the wrong time and they always stood by me. There's a funny story. All right, my homie Joe Cornell, shout out my brother, he just had a birthday. It was like his birthday a couple years ago, right? We get too drunk, right? I'm tripping. And the next day I'm feeling guilty and hungover, and I'll go over to Sean's house. I'm like, hey man, I can't be a part of Swan no more, man. I can't. I'm just not in a good place right now. And he was like, well, shut up.
Make sure I hear that shit, nigga.
I tried to quit Swan, and he was like, nah.
Not rocking, bro. It's not happening. Not like that.
Dude, everything. I think, it was just shot to everything. It was too much.
It was one of them nights, man. For sure, why?
It's like just streetwear in general. I feel like all the brands that I'm attracted to, like all streetwear, I feel like started from like a political stance kind of thing. So like it's them trying to tell a story or take a stance and do something. So that's like the brands I'm attracted to. So with like clothes, like I have my own clothing line, which I kind of just stopped doing when I started doing S.W.A.N, because you only have so many hours in the day. I want to give everything to S.W.A.N. So like all of that was like, I always felt like misunderstood. So like then the clothes was a way for me to like speak up, I guess. Because I'm not really like that talkative. According to Alex, he got no funny friends.
He told the world none of us were funny. So
He said he got no funny friends.
I don't even remember the context.
He was drinking.
No, this was on a podcast.
he was sober as they can come.
He was like,
Can't even help you, brother.
Yeah, I probably just thought y'all wasn't funny at the time. In that very moment, I'm sorry, y'all.
Sick, man.
he's like, he knows we listen to it too.
He know we listen to this podcast, bro. We was gonna hear that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's where we make all of them.
Yeah, that's what literally we make all of the money at.
It's kind of
So a lot of times though, he's performing. So he just in rap mode. So he's going around talking to everybody, doing that stuff. And then Alex is like the sales guy. And then I'm just kind of the technical dude. I'm just like, hey, I'll ring everyone up, bag it, all that stuff. Tell people about like why the design is the way it is. But he's the one selling it off.
Yeah.
So like we kind of have like our own like specific roles then too.
At the shows, yeah. So the roles that we play in the meeting are even different than the roles that we play like when we're out and about doing events. Whenever we're out, I'm the face. So like that's always gonna be like that. I'm always gonna be the.
They call him A.S.W.A.N.
Yeah, people literally call me Swan. So I'm gonna always, and I know that's my job, I do it well. I make sure I scream Swan at all chances I get. I make sure I'm underneath people comments with the Swans, like everything is Swan. So that's my job, is to be a face. I feel like he does a really good job with like keeping our relationships good with other brands and other curators and people that's in the city.
good PR.
Very good PR, very good at keeping, just keeping us in the loop. And a lot of times I may be isolated into myself. And he does a good job of like being a face when I'm not around.
Yeah, you gonna see me somewhere.
And then my man here, I look at him as more of like creative direction. Like no matter if he doesn't do the design, like it has to be okayed by him. And he does like our fonts, and he created our website and making sure our color palettes are like a certain way and make sure we follow our themes. And that's just one of the roles that I feel like we all wear like multiple different hats, but like the most consistent ones are those three. And then when it comes to the shows, I'm essentially just the face at the show. My job is to bring the people into the show so they can buy stuff, and he helps smooth them over, you know, the charismatic type, and he's there to explain like everything and ring everybody up. And there's more than this. These are just we're just the owners. There's more of us. It's like 7 of us. So, yeah, man. Yeah, man, we here for the nerd shit, man.
That's what we said.
Come on, man. Secretly, we all nerds, man. We here for the nerds. No, Nate's the biggest nerd of all of us. Yeah, he's king nerd.
He's the goat.
He's king nerd. I mean,
we all nerdy about something else too, though.
Facts. So, all right, the acronym came first. So I came up with the acronym like my very first year out of high school. It wasn't even my first year. I probably was 3 months out of high school. And it started off as, like, I didn't know these two yet. It started off as a documentary idea. Because a lot of the people that were like varsity athletes in high school, it would make fun of the kids that ran like Naruto and that went to school and cosplay shit. And then when I'm going up to their frat houses and shit, and you motherfuckers is majors in design and computer science, and you're a fucking fashion major, you niggas was weird nerds too. So in my head, as a writer, I went to like, I could make a documentary and I could interview like all the homies like and ask them why adolescents from the ages of 12 to 17 feel like they can't be themselves in social settings and feel the need to belittle people who actually have the act of being their self. And then as I was writing my questions down, I was like, oh, this could be like everything though. Like that acronym SWAN is crazy. So I went and looked up like what a swan means, like what's the symbolism behind a swan. and it was like signs of good things to come, and it was one of the animals of Apollo, and Apollo was a god of music, and everything just lined up, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna run with Swan for everything. So yeah, it started off as a documentary idea though.
Oh no.
Nah, as soon as someone says secret, we're all nerds. It's like, oh,
Like,
Bro,
yeah, that shit tight. Yeah.
He was down with Swan before he knew what it meant. Cause I don't explain it. The first word is secretly. If I go tell you, is it much of a secret? So I don't really tell people that much until it gets to the point like explain it.
except
Then when
for one of our best-selling shirts that were big on the back.
Yeah.
but at that point in time, people already knew though. It's real sarcastic, man. Dry humor, man. He's dry. Dry. Very sarcastic. Yeah, bro. Very, very sarcastic.
Alex don't even know when I'm joking half the time.
Yeah, his sarcasm is good.
It's very good, bro.
So I'll be like,
Cause the face, he got a solid poker face.
He
Then be
said,
like,
he said to me once, he's like, bro, I don't know when you're joking.
yo, sometimes you gotta put it out there though. It really is confusing.
what is Alex's humor?
I don't know. I'm like slapstick. I'm kind of a goofball a little bit, but I like the sarcasm and the dark and the dry humor. When we be roasting each other, that'd be the funnest part though. Just the good old Joneses is like the best kind of humor.
Yeah, man. It get tough for my guy over here. We start pulling the white jokes. He's defenseless at that point. It's hard.
He's
I have to
outnumbered.
accept
You
it.
just gotta take it. You
Yeah.
just gotta, that's a percent. That's a percent. That's crazy. All right.
That's at least 60, 70.
Nah, yeah, it's close.
Hey, chill.
It's close. I feel like the dork is like derogatory. Like,
I feel like a nerd has a passion.
Yeah.
I think a dork is just like, you're just not cool, bro. Like,
Damn.
I feel like a dork is a nerd without a passion.
yeah, and that's just not
Hey,
cool.
Hey, maybe you ain't found it yet. I was a dork at one point.
Yeah, we didn't meet that version of you.
You still
did.
dorky.
I did?
Yeah.
I didn't think you was a dork when I
we
met
met,
you.
I was still figuring all that shit out.
He's still
Like,
dorky though.
Who?
You.
Man, I'll take it.
I think we all kind of dorky though. We got our moments. I'm a cheesy dude. Yeah, man. Nerd with no passion. Nerd with no purpose. Yeah, dork sound derogatory. Like
Yeah.
nerd don't
I
sound.
be calling people dork all the time.
Yeah.
I never got
Dork kind of sound like a weasel. Like you just like.
You throwing hands on the door?
Nah.
A LA,
It depends.
a
though.
LA nigga might
I
though.
mean, if you get some spit on
The
me,
wrong, if you're from the wrong region, like a LA nigga might feel a way about dork or weird. Like you know, you call an LA nigga weirdo, like it might be up. Like for real, for real.
That's a regional thing.
You know what I mean?
All right. Let's get back into some fun shit. You got a little dangerous there for the
yeah.
That's a shirt. That's a dangerous for the dorks. Oh, I love that. I love that.
I was confused. I thought it was over.
Like, what's
And
the
I was
situation?
hurt.
I'm lost. What's the situation?
Didn't
They said they were over, but they were like, we just kidding. We just turned 30. So they were making a joke of how old they are.
I thought
Nah,
that was
it-
bought by Warner Brothers. But
Well, yeah, they all their stuff's on HBO.
Oh, that sounds fire. Cartoon Network is the best shit ever. Hell, it's on HBO.
Yeah, all of it's on HBO.
Oh, it's fucking lit. Let's go.
I think it'd be cool. Like
All of DC, all of Cartoon Network, all that stuff.
I haven't watched Cartoon Network in a minute, but Warner Brothers did WB, so they got to know a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Well, WB owns HBO.
Shit confusing.
If I'm being honest,
And WB owns all of DC.
Cartoon Network gave me classics when I was a kid. I don't give a fuck if they fuck up now. I got the classics and they on HBO.
I mean,
like fuck that. I can watch the shit.
I still watch the regular show.
Bro,
regular shows.
Codename
hard.
Kids Next Door was, oh my god, it's so many classics.
Gumball is funny. too.
Gumball,
People
Ed,
sleep
Ed,
on
and
Gumball.
Eddie, bro. Wasn't what's the imaginary? Courage is crazy.
dog.
What's the
That's my
orphan?
favorite
What's the orphan show with the imaginary
Foster's Home for
Foster?
Imaginary
Oh my bro, Cartoon Network got that shit on them. What? There wasn't Camp Laszlo Cartoon Network too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but WB had Pinky in the Brain, so WB knows what they're doing too.
For sure, man. Like
So
I said, they
Batman
can.
Beyond.
Warner Brothers. I'm not too worried.
Nah, man, we not too stressed, man.
Yeah. I thought it was over. So I'm relieved that it's still kicking.
Yeah, they came.
man.
They said we not done. We just turned 30.
Hey, man. Shout out Cartoon Network for giving niggas the classics. They was better than Disney and they was better than Nickelodeon, man. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Nickelodeon had a run though.
They
Like
had
in the
SpongeBob.
90s.
They
I'm
had
talking about,
SpongeBob.
was it?
What was Cat Dog
Roscoe's?
on?
Cat Dog, that was Cartoon Network, wasn't it?
Nope.
That was Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
Cat Dog.
Ooh, Nickelodeon kind of heavy. Hold
Cow,
on.
wait, is Cow Chicken Cartoon Network? Or
Cow Chick. It's Cartoon Network?
Cartoon Network.
Okay, Cartoon Network, we back, baby.
Damn.
What else is Cartoon? Nah, Cartoon Network had that
Rocket
shit.
Power. That was Nickelodeon.
Yeah, Rocket Power.
Fuck.
Yeah. Rugrats.
Nah, bro.
Forget about Rugrats. Rugrats. Top
Hey,
tier.
I ain't know. You know, I was a Nickelodeon fighting with Cartoon Network. I got Ed and Eddie is the best out of all of that shit though. That's my shit.
That's it's like I don't know. It's like a Lil Wayne to Nickelodeon. Because Cartoon Network got hits and it got volume though.
Cartoon
And
Network.
it's a lot of bullshit.
Didn't
though.
they have Robot Chicken too?
Yeah, that don't count.
They
That's
Adult Swim.
It's the same channel though.
No, that don't count. That don't
Nah,
count.
it counts.
They was all
No,
channel
it don't
58.
It counts.
No.
Nick got
Talking about
Nick got
Cartoon
Nick at
Network.
night.
Cause we can talk about we can talk about Futurama on me. Cause we can talk about
What do y'all
Futurama.
think? Someone else chime in with this. Adult Swim is his.
Hold on, this wasn't the question. We definitely created a question between Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. Shout out to Cartoon Network, man. Yeah, I want y'all to start.
I don't know.
It's a lot of things that make this motherfucking Kansas City, bro. It's a lot. Location is the first one.
Yeah, I always look at it from like Kansas City was like the place to go in the 20s. It was called Paris of the Plains because like during the Prohibition, we were the wettest city like in the United States. And that also came from a corrupt government, but that because of that though, it with the music scene, like all that stuff, like jazz, blues, it kind of blew up in the city. But our Union Station was big, so we were a big travel thing. But then before that, the steamboats, the river market was big. So like Kansas City being where it's at, it was like a hub for people to go to. But then once highways and airports, then Kansas City kind of like lost itself. Like we didn't keep up. So like I always look at it from that kind of perspective. Like I'm always doing research on the old Kansas City.
He gave us a history lesson.
Yeah, I was gonna say Gates. I was. That was the first thing I said to mom.
I agree with him on like the music and like the infrastructure and like what like build up the hype because we were a part of the jazz renaissance. There was only 4 major cities a part of that. Another thing that makes Kansas City is crime. Regardless of how we want to spin it, the Italian mafia ran through this motherfucker. They got footprints in this motherfucker. African American gangsters is all through this motherfucker. And the streets have dictated everything around here from the 80s and on.
Shout out Rich the Factor.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, real shit. Rich a legend.
For real, bro. Rich took the more recent era of Kansas City and like showcased it to like outside and surrounding areas for sure. But I think crime and outside of crime, like art, bro. If you look at like the arts district and like Kansas City is really open like with the art, like
Scribe was the only full-time artist hired by a hospital.
come on. And we got legendary like moments in American history.
In the United States, he was the only full-time artist at a hospital. Because his job was to design stuff for Children's Mercy to make it less scary for the children. So like the ambulance.
Also, all the shit in Children's Mercy is like
was all done by Scribe.
because they got hella art in Children's Mercy.
So like they have these little panels that go from room to room, and he designed all of that with these characters because his whole thing is characters, and he did that so like going from the room it was less scary for the kids. The ambulances had like characters all on it, like rhinos and stuff like that. Because I mean, the ambulance come and pick up a kid, that's pretty scary. So trying to make it more fun.
And if you look
He's no
at
longer there because he's doing his own thing now. But
and the first African American Major League Baseball player played for the Kansas City Monarchs, and you get it's just it's a lot of history here, bro. I think it's hard to pinpoint one thing that makes us, but I think the one thing that we stand out with, like outside of like the rest of the country, our food. I've been a lot of places in this country.
I think it's also like for me, mindset too, because they always call it a flyover state. Yeah. So then like we always got a chip on our shoulder.
Facts.
Like everybody.
Definitely the chip part.
For sure.
I think Casey is
I get mad when people say they're gonna leave to go to the coast. I'm like, why? Yeah. We have the internet. We literally.
That's definitely a shot at me. I definitely went to the coast. I definitely went to the coast last year.
It was not a shot at him. But we have the internet. Like we can reach anywhere. We don't need to be there anymore.
I love me.
So,
Well, I can speak from the music end. The project came together. I got my heart broke. That's really what it be. You know, a lot of times artists, we get our heart broke, we go crazy. I want to make music. I'm gonna write about it. And you know, well, when the girl who left me, she was my first love, and a lot of the stuff that she had complaints about wasn't about how I treated her. It's kind of how I treated myself, and the effects of the lack of love and lack of care that I give myself had around the people around me. And when certain people tell you certain things, they kind of hit a little harder, and I had to sit in my reality. So after that conversation, the very next day, from that day forward, I made it a thing for me to learn how to love myself. And I made myself say these mantras. I put these, I'm gonna say that for that. I put these, when I walk in the mirror and in my bathroom, there's like these paragraphs that I have on the side of the mirror, and I read them every single day. And then there's like nice sticky notes of like kind things to say to myself. And my rule is whenever I walk past a sticky note, I have to say them. And going to therapy and practicing so many things. And then I looked up and like, I started making music around what I was doing in my life. Because everything that I make is essentially based on what I'm going through in life. And that just so happened to be what I was going through. And once I started posting I love me every day on my story and tweeting it every morning, I started getting a bunch of people like reacting and people telling me like, this is helping me this way. And I'm a teacher, I make my kids say this every morning because of this. And it was just like, yo, we got something like kind of big here. And that's just my perspective on how the project started and what got it going. I'm sure they have a different attachment to this I Love Me project though. That was January 2021. January 21st, 2021.
I don't know. We were kind of there in the beginning because he would just like, we would just pull up to his mom's crib to listen to have a meeting, and he's like, yo, I made a new song, and you just play it. I think the first one I remember is Proud.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
That one.
That was like the middle.
And I remember.
That's the first one I remember though, because you like played this for us. I was like, I've never heard this, Sean.
Yeah. It's a lot of them on here. Never heard these verses of me.
When was the event at Emerald Lounge?
That was August. Emerald the studio. That was August of 21.
Tommy moving crazy.
I started making the project in March of 21.
It's kind of hard to like when we tapped in, cause like we really, since we've been started one, like
we've been meeting pretty much every week.
So we never not talking to each other.
And also while I was making this project, I put out 2 EPs. So like, that's another thing, cause I make music so much, there's a lot sitting around while we're getting to what, like there's a lot of music, like this project is done. I probably shouldn't say how many projects I have finished, but it's some more shit done already. So when we're doing events for stuff, people don't know like the next shit has already been started. And we kind of, at the point now, we're at the marketing point for this. Like our creation is not necessarily here now though.
Everything is like fresh now.
We had designs for like the main pieces like
last year,
like a half a month ago, or maybe a full year ago,
Yeah.
like completed, like ready to be made.
I would say
We in the future right now.
a lot of it is just been preparing for the show, like us getting product ready. Nate is working on some visuals for the show, and he's been like consistent with all the art and the visuals for the project. So shout out to Nate. It's really just trusting him to do that and we had to change the set list.
This is probably the most
Probably
prepared
like
we've
4
ever been for a
times.
show.
Yeah.
Facts. This is probably gonna be the best
For
show.
the 7 days pop up, I was supposed to print it on Wednesday, and the pop up was Friday.
Man was tweaking.
And
Tell them when it got printed.
the printer messed up Friday, so I couldn't use it, or on Wednesday, so I couldn't use it. So I printed them Friday. We were supposed to print them. The thing started at 7. I printed them at like 5:30, and got to the show at like 6:30.
Bro,
Cutting it close.
so the person that we were supposed to get chicken from, because we usually cater our events, we're supposed to get chicken from. We called the order in. I called the order in the day before. He didn't tell me the restaurant was closed that day. So I had to go get some whole other chicken from a whole nother place. Wait till it was like 150 pieces of chicken though that I gotta go grab. And yeah, bro, a lot of the shit we do, like, it looks very well put together.
For the
but we
Fuse
be
show-
scrambling.
For the Fuse show, I think we designed that. We had shirts blanks ready, but then we didn't come up with a design until like a full week before. So we didn't print that shirt until like
Till
2 days before.
2 days before.
So,
Yeah, bro, a
with
lot.
us having access, like I work at a print shop, with us having access, my boss lets me use it whenever I want, pretty much. So
What I hear is like y'all pulling this shit off, making it look effortless because it comes off real fly.
there's been a lot of long nights, like 2 a.m., 3 a.m.
Yeah, my guy here, man.
Hey, the shirts is hot off the press though, so
You know what I'm saying? Still had a little heat on them from that oven, you know? Nah,
They
man.
was loving it.
They didn't. Nobody
It was.
Nobody knew that shit just happened an
Shawty
hour
so
before.
ratchet.
Bro, we was
We just
bad,
had-
bro.
So when it comes to like
We started doing pop-ups because I think the best way to sell is in person, especially like something like where we have a message like Secret We All Nerds. Like it's just easier to explain it that way than through a website. So I want to do stuff in person. I think it's just the best way to sell stuff.
And so we started in 2019, in the summer of 2019. So if you check the timeline, we only had 6 months.
Unofficially.
Yeah, unofficially. Yeah, IRS not gonna watch that. So as a business and selling clothes, we only had 6 months of that until the pandemic happened. So we had 6 months of. I remember one of the very last events we did was I opened up for Schoolboy Q, and then after that we did my birthday show, and then like the pandemic happened. So yeah, shout out Made
It was
Mob for letting us use the
24th.
place. December 27th.
27th?
Mm-hmm. December 27th. But the pandemic happened and venues are closed. So we knew we wanted to do pop-ups. We knew we had to launch our website, and we were like, yo, we need to it's hard to sell clothes like in a pandemic. So I remember it was November of 2020. They had kind of like loosely opened things up for us. Like it wasn't open like as a whole in the country, but KC was allowing people like out and stuff. So we put together an event. We couldn't do venues, so we were doing stuff like renting out clothing stores or renting out like a place that just has room, and we can just go rent a sound system and we can get the night going like that. And the first one we did in the midst of the pandemic kind of changed the trajectory of like us like completely. And I think it was because nobody had nothing to do for like 6 months. And boom, it's an event.
We outsold some like stores that we know in 3 hours, like, and they do it in like a full day on first Friday. And we outsold them in like 3 hours.
What, the first one we had over 70 customers for the first one?
The one at the
I think we had over.
One of the dudes.
I think we had over 50 sales.
Over 50 sales. That doesn't count
I
how
think
many.
it was over 60 sales because we had like close to 100. So
Close,
like
yeah. For every 100 people, we do 60 customers essentially. And
60 transactions.
that started that night. And from then, is people kind of treated the events like that. Like people always liked us, for sure. But that event, it was November 13th, 2020. I will never forget that shit, bro.
We
Like,
also made it
never.
personal. We like sent out personal.
Yeah, we sent out
invites.
personal invites. So like it'll have the person's name on it and a long typed out message and all of that. And like I feel like we created a sense of people feel included. And It's a space where everybody, but you could be the weirdest person here, bro. Like you could pull up with rainbow dyed hair, or you could pull up here as a man with your nails painted. Like we don't care, bro. We just all in here kicking it. We all weird. Like you just heard us rant off about all of this artistic and nerdy shit. We all weird. We just accept people, bro, and we kind of want everybody to feel accepted in the spot when we push it together.
I would say the homies. Like that to answer the original question is like a lot of people just kind of lend this space. And who wouldn't want to have that kind of energy like in their space? 'Cause, yeah. But some of them,
They also charismatic. People like them, so they're like willing to like.
some
You guys can use our space. Like they're willing to like open that up for us.
Shout out to them, bro. Like the homies, like you said, the homies, other businesses, bro, because people are very friendly and allow us to do stuff that maybe another company can't do.
we brought a couch in the May mob.
You know what I'm saying? Like we bring props, like we do stage design, other clothing stores will allow us to do pop-ups at their clothing store. Like it's not normal for people to come let people compete with them in the same spot. But I think it's part of the energy we bring. Like none of us are looking to compete with anybody. We just really like to heal different. But realistically, I think the energy is like, yo, we love to create. I think that's between every S.W.A.N member, not even just us three here. I think all of us love to create, and I feel like we all happy with a space to create. And if we got a space that we curated, we create in, I feel like the people that come and tap in with us, a lot of them are like creators in their own right, whether it's photography, music, visual art with painting and drawing and shit like that. I just feel like it's a space for people to do the shit they like to do, be embraced by the people they like, and a community, just a community room, bro. That's the biggest part. I built my whole fan base off of community. I had an apartment on 59th Street in 2017. I used to throw parties at that motherfucker. And for a summer, I threw 9 parties in a summer at that house. We was doing art clubs.
You threw somebody through a wall too, huh?
We didn't have to go there.
I'm sorry.
But inclusion, yeah. You know,
Expect that at the concert.
Throwing people through
No,
a
we're not
wall.
gonna be.
nobody's going through a wall on the 28th. Nobody's going through a
Who's
wall.
on the
So this is actually the first time so when we do our stuff, I don't reach out for other people to perform. This is the first time I think in like 2 years that we've had other people on the bill.
Probably
And
since your birthday show.
yeah, almost 3 years. It'll be 3 years in December. So
wait, WAP didn't perform at the.
they weren't announced on the thing though.
Oh, okay.
So again, we like to keep everything like within what we can bring. So we don't usually have people come, but this time when I was given the venue that I was given, and I was like, bro, it gotta be the other artists, homie. Like they gotta be the homies. So we got the homegirl Jazz Couch. She's crazy, bro.
Nice.
She gonna get on that bass up on that stage, and she gonna sing. It's gonna sound like she like a cool ass big sister on stage, bro. That's what Jazz feel like to me on stage. Like
100%.
the big sister that like take you to everything. Like I'm gonna take bro to the game, man. That's what Jazz give me. So Dame, man. Dame put them words together, man. Pretty girls love game, love Dame. Sad girls love money. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Dame just gonna talk that shit. I feel like Dame say like every line Dame rap, you could say like facts. Like at the end of that shit, like just say facts. It's just he a cool ass rap nigga to me. And again, he one of the people that's like a part of my class. Like I remember 2015, us being at the Roxy Bar, nobody at this motherfucker, but we here. Then I got my boy Ka. Me and Ka have been in rap groups with each other. Like that's family. Like family is nothing short of the word.
What was y'all rap group name?
It was Caviar.
Oh,
We was all a part of Caviar.
I thought it was something different.
No. Oh, me and Kai just got a real tight relationship. That's my dog. Like, and another person that's a part of my class. Like, I remember we was doing shows at a clothing store called The Loop in 2016. It was only like 10 people in that motherfucker. And just seeing, like, I think this show is even gonna be like to that. Like, this is my class, and these are the people from my class. And we was doing shows when nobody gave a fuck, and we might sell out the record bar now. And that's the moment that I'm here for. Like, yeah, we celebrating the album, we celebrating Kansas City and all that, but the celebration for me, outside of like the album, is like, yo, These are the people that I started this journey and these shows with. Look where we at now 5-6 years later, bro. Like, we done came a long way. Long way. I remember leaving shows, not having no food to eat. I ain't had no blunt to smoke, nothing.
Tough time.
It's not like that no more.
Hey,
We leave the shows, it's not like that no more, baby.
You got 15. You choosing the blunt or the beef on blunt?
You know what's fucked up? You know,
Sometimes it be like that.
definitely picking the blunt.
you could take away the hunger, huh?
It's a reason why though, cause like, all right, look, and this is gonna sound crazy, but like, as people love you, like somebody gonna feed you. Ain't nobody gonna take care of your smoking habit.
Here we go.
Ain't nobody gonna take care of your smoking habit.
Nah, man.
He on some bullshit.
Here we go.
He on some bullshit.
I think it's definitely a lot harder to get that free blunt.
It's definitely harder to get the flea blunt, bro. Somebody gonna make sure you eat, bro. Somebody love you enough to make sure you eat, bro.
I can't argue with that.
You know what I'm saying? And if don't nobody wanna make sure you eat, you gotta wonder about what you done did to people. Cause why nobody wanna make sure you eat?
Damn, that's crazy.
Go to your last place.
For real though, bro.
Thought of it like that.
Come on, bro.
You learn from anime today, bro.
That shit is. I mean, it take practice. I definitely got taken advantage of in the beginning of this shit. But you live and you learn. You learn not to be a shitty person. You stand on your business. You stand on your word. If you can't do something, just say that. That's really like the basics. It helped having like people like Sean that been around and already like bump their heads enough to do it. And I got a lot of mentors, and I think we share a lot of mentors that help us navigate them spaces.
Because there's so many of us, and we have like a core group that we rely on. I don't know if we have the same problems as other people.
We kind of, bro, everything we do is in-house.
Like, we don't have to go to someone else to design it. We got Nate and I, like, we have our EIN. We can order all the blanks. I work at a t-shirt shop, so I can print it all.
Print everything. The
I-
music.
I know other printers. I know embroiderists. Like, we can go to them. Like,
On the music side, Walt produces everything, mixes and masters everything. Him and Nate do all cover art. I got the studio in my living room. When it comes to getting venues and stuff, like, bro, I don't need a promoter. I've been doing shows here for 8 years. I know
we all
every
know
venue.
people too,
Exactly.
and we all like know different people.
I've performed at every venue. So anything a rapper needs in KC, I got it in the team. I don't need to reach out. So I don't really go through, like, we don't really go through like all the shit everybody else be going through and complaining about. Like
When it comes to sound, we throw in our own stuff. We just buy it ourselves.
But we rent out our own sound systems. And luckily, Walt being the master of sound and audio and shit, like,
Right there.
bro got that shit down. Like, anybody, any job, like, we may not have one person for every job, but every person that's in S.W.A.N can do multiple jobs. We're resourceful, bro. Everything is in-house. We literally produce everything, bro. We got 3 cameras now. We don't need really much no more. Right. All of us. We all embody the energy that's S.W.A.N, bro.
Don't be like,
The people, the
What's the
roster.
roster?
So me, Sean, Derek. Then we got Nate, who was on the phone with earlier. Then we got Walt. Walt's a big piece.
Big piece.
And Mo, and I would say
Mo,
River. And that's probably like
And on my personal adversary, like just going to advice and tips, Rich don't like come to meetings, but like I don't come up with a lot of the ideas that I come up with, and I don't stay in a certain direction without Rich. Like, I have my own one-on-one personal meetings with like Rich, because he's more like a big brother to me. So I call him S.W.A.N, even though he's not like at the meetings and all that, but like so much of like what I've done has been like assisted and helped with through him. Like, I remember one time, it's when I was starting to get really popular in the scene, and a lot of times I would like go out to eat, and like people would like walk up to me and like want to talk about music, and I was in a really bad place, and I was like, yo, I just want to be a human. And my boy Rich had to sit me down like, hey bro, you decided to be an entertainer. When you go outside, it's not Ashawn that grew up around Barbara and Andrea. Like, you Ashawn the rapper. And if that's too much for you, find a different job. And just little stuff like that. Like, I don't think I navigate all of this stuff as well as I do without talking to Rich on a consistent basis like I do. Older guy in his 40s, but important for my development as an artist and a person running a brand and as a person in general. But that's all of S.W.A.N for sure. Oh, let me tell you something about this guy. He's crazy. I was paying Derek well. When we first met, I was paying Derek well. A year goes into it, something popped up in his head, was like, I don't want any more money. I wanna help out with this, and I want a piece of it. And he went from being very well paid. It's not as much money, but again, it's people like they sold into it. I don't know why necessarily. Like he's told me why, but only he can speak to why that he sold into it, or only they can speak to why they sold into it. To me,
it's not yours no more.
To me, yeah.
Got no choice.
Yeah. Well, to me, it's like S.W.A.N is my baby, and it takes a village. And that's really how I look at it. It takes a village. You cannot raise a child by yourself.
I'm a grandfather. That was a good one.
You know what I mean?
Really, it's like you can't do everything.
I definitely
So
can't.
you gotta find people that you can trust that's gonna help add to it.
Also, we never changed his plan.
Yeah.
We all kind of have the same plan. So it's like he's not really giving up anything.
Yeah, I don't feel like I have to, like, I don't feel like S.W.A.N take away from anything else that I do. Because I'm a part of a whole bunch of shit. And as long as I'm communicating with them and still on the same page with them, I could go live my life and be cool. And that kind of freedom is like what I be needing.
And like they said, I can't do every job. So a lot of people, I be thinking I design this shit. I don't.
Bro, people be thinking you
No, bro. Niggas think like, bro, I don't know what type of creative genius niggas think I am, but no. Let's listen.
Makes the teas too.
Visually, he directs everything visually. And if it's not him, it's Nate. Whether it's visual representation with the clothing, content ideas that we do. I don't do all of this shit by myself. Like there's a lot of people that help this thing look like what it looks like and be what it is. I get a lot of credit for it because I'm the face, and this is bro's first time like really being on camera, and he's behind the scenes so much I don't think he doesn't want to be on camera, but bro got a lot to do. So I don't think his first thought is
He wants to be both.
camera.
He wants to direct and act.
You know what I'm saying? So
but not necessarily in the same film, you know.
when it comes to Nate, like Nate does a lot of the cover art for the music. When it comes to like, all right, let's say these events that we got going on. At the end of the day, I need to rip and run around. Mo helps me out a lot with my day-to-day interactions. Like I host my rehearsals at Mo's house. When I need to go pick these things up and go do these things, and Mo's just on call and ready to move around, and because she just believes, and that's my dog. On top of like every Walt being like my he taught me how to make music. Like the first time I recorded music was in his basement on a rock band microphone in his mom's basement. I didn't know how to write songs. I didn't know how to record music, none of that. He literally showed me step by step. Like, so yeah, I get a lot of this credit, but this shit ain't all me. I'm talented, I'm great at what I do, but it looks like it looks because everybody around us is great at what they do. And they help this shit a lot. If it was just me, it'll look like what it looked like in 2018. And it didn't look that great in 2018.
Look good enough for them to jump.
Shout out to them.
I didn't see those.
Shout out to them. Yeah, that merch was that's all I had. That's all I had. That boy could make a song, boy.
If I saw that heat press shirt, I might have.
Never spoke to us again. But we was in South Dakota. No, it wasn't North. It was South Dakota. It was me, Walt, my brother Ray Money, and my boy E. Bro, we was in South Dakota. We paid somebody to make our merch, and somehow we ended up in his uncle living room heat pressing our own shirts. My nigga, I ain't never did nothing in fashion. So you could imagine how trash these shirts was that I heat pressed. Yeah, bro, we was in dark places before, very, very dark places before. Shout out to you guys, man. Y'all changed this shit. I was going down a dark path before we got here. That's between us two.
Yeah, it's between us.
Oh wait, Mo might got us.
Shit, Mo just be having like I just don't be having that option because I got got a mouse to feed. No children. I got 2 cats. So it'd be like, cats get expensive. Serious?
Nah, man. It's only about 3 stoners in Swan though. It's only about 3 of us.
Nah, 4.
Who?
Nate.
Nah,
Nate don't smoke.
They don't smoke.
Oh, he stopped a year ago. Fuck.
Yeah, man. It's about 3 stoners.
In spirit, I think I'm number 1. You know what I'm saying?
I roll the best.
Hey man, I don't know about that.
You sure?
Sean, I would say Sean.
I showed niggas the way, man.
I think I mastered it.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We can have a roll off after the show.
Speed
This is the
and quality.
competitiveness coming out.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I got you beat.
Nerds are so competitive.
I think I got you on quality though. I'll give you that on speed because I get to talking. I'll be forgetting I'm rolling up and shit for sure. But that quality though, that motherfucker gonna be tucked, boy. That motherfucker tucked, and then the little end part when I flow. Boy, that boy kind of.
I've never heard this much passion.
I get my reps in, so
You know what I'm saying?
rolling.
it never was that
He
serious.
definitely rolled papers better than you though, for sure. I got them woods on lock.
You should raise your hand for that one.
Man, I like big. I'm gonna go raise my hand though. So it's kind of unspoken.
We're gonna speak it.
That's because
We all hippies though.
at the beginning, like there's always like so
They're still
many
low
years.
key free beer.
He be telling me no though. So
I feel like he just be saying no to say it though.
I be
enjoy it.
respecting. You enjoy saying no to me?
I enjoy saying no to everybody.
Damn.
Sick, bro.
Yeah, I'm the biggest.
We all hippies though. I will say that. I think we all got our hippie like ways though.
It's probably me.
I'm glad he owned up to that.
I mean, I can see you. You know,
Oh.
I still got good vision. You know.
You know what I'm saying, man? I didn't know you was looking this way, man. My fault, gang.
You do got some other posters though.
Yeah, Walt is definitely a pot stirrer. Walt gonna stir the pot.
Hey, when Walt and Derek be going at it, it's some of the best comedy ever. They really be getting into it.
Oh, some of the best comedy, huh?
But we not funny, right? Nigga crazy.
Hey, it could have been sarcasm.
It wasn't.
How do you know?
Because y'all had a discussion about you not having funny friends.
That was a topic
Even
point.
sarcasm, you
Maybe
drop it.
it's just a bad joke.
They
But
we
as
run
you-
up to you and you're like,
As you can see, Derek started some shit just now. So that answered your question.
who's the most hard headed though?
Yeah, I'll take that.
Well, we be having to fight Sean sometimes.
Cause I just be like, bro. I watched the interview. Young Thug was like, they asked Young Thug what advice he'd give up and coming artists. You know what his answer was? You always right, nigga. And I took that shit to heart. So
Just not to the close.
Yeah.
I'd give you that. I'll be wrong about the clothes. I'll be wrong. Look, man, I grew up playing basketball, bro. I'm a hoodie, sweatpants type nigga, bro.
Basketball.
For sure.
Easy.
For sure.
04 Lakers. I'm Phil Jackson.
Dude, all right.
Yeah, I'm the coach. We've already discussed this. He said he Kobe. Walt
Cause it's
Shaq.
04. Yeah.
Wait, who does that make me?
You say you want to be D Fish.
I'll take it. I'll run the point.
Nate
D
gonna
Fish was
be
there for every ring.
Nate gonna be Robert Ory.
Facts. Nate's Robert Ory for sure.
We've already had this discussion.
Facts. We've definitely talked about this.
Easily.
You could call us the Warriors too with KD. Yeah.
I don't like being Draymond. I'm gonna be honest. I'm definitely a guard. And dude,
I'm definitely a guard.
I don't like being a forward.
Yeah, so you Clay.
Facts.
I'll take it.
He's Steph.
I would have to be KD.
You're Draymond.
So Walt's.
Walt Steph.
I'll be Steve Kerr.
All right, we'll take it.
So obviously he's not that athletic. He's never on the court. He's always the coach.
That jumper hit though.
We've talked about this before too.
Just music, art, food.
Petting zoos.
A bunch of
There'll
swans.
be lap swans.
A bunch of swans.
Good food.
It might be some swans on the 28th. You never know, man.
Good vibe.
You gotta come and see. Buy a ticket. You might see a swan.
That might be considered false advertisement.
I didn't guarantee it. Not once did I guarantee it. Not once did I.
See a swan.
You definitely gonna see a swan. You might not see the bird, but it's gonna be a bunch of swans there. It's about what, 8 of us? There's gonna be about 8 swans there for sure.
If you come to the show, you a swan too.
Facts. Facts.
We just gonna run with I Love Me.
I love me, bro. We pushing this thing. This the most we've ever put into a body of work and a campaign. We just getting started. The music came out last week.
We got 5 pieces coming out the day of the show, the 28th.
That's one of them.
And,
I am proud of you. I love me. We here. We here.
After that, we're gonna roll out more, and then after that, we're gonna roll out more. So we're gonna have more and more designs for everything. So
More videos. Or
different products, everything.
The homie just told me that I'm the best rapper with merch. Like we got like as a rapper, I got the best merch, Zeph. So I'm stamping that, bro.
To you too.
Facts, bro. We do this merch thing, man. We do this thing, man. Like we put a lot into this. I put a lot into the music, and Derek is like that same passionate with the clothes, and Alex like between working in clothing and having that love for streetwear. Like I remember meeting Alex and he had like Stussy hoodies and like that was like his thing. Like between them two having that love for the clothing, and then Nate coming with these fucking ridiculous designs, bro, that sometimes may not be put on clothes, but it'll be put on cover arts. Bro, we put a lot into that.
He's
merch.
like a real artist.
Yeah, bro. Nate.
So,
School for that shit too.
sometimes like his art's like too technical or detailed for clothes. So like he's a real artist.
That shit crazy.
Eric can't print 8 colors. It's like
I'm trying to tell him, like, bro, we gotta get to 4.
yeah.
So now we got one color.
That's embroidery.
Facts.
This is beautiful.
This was dope, bro.
What about the campaign?
Oh yeah, support niggas. On me, that's the new campaign. We pushing everything with that, bro. And how you support niggas? Well, I'm niggas. Listen to the album, buy the album on Bandcamp, pop up to the show. You know, support niggas. Yeah, that part. Stay in the loop, baby.